Hi, Jake and I again. We've got a great announcement today. Our book, To See a Whale, is now available on Amazon. The book is a story about whale watching. This is one of the illustrations inside. And our illustrator, Jake doesn't let me get my face in here. Anyway, the illustrator is Beth Roth, and she's done a tremendous job. Just to show you one example of her great drawing, I'll let you see this one of a basking shark. Her illustrations are just totally unbelievable. The story takes place on the Dolphin, located in Provincetown, Massachusetts, on Cape Cod. Provincetown is the place I grew up. I graduated from their high school in 1959 and went on to go to New Mexico and eventually to Alberta, Canada, where I began a teaching career that lasted over 38 years. But about 10 or 12 years ago, I began to write children's books based on my grandson who had ADHD. He made some amazing comments during various events. So they've become parts of books that we've written. One about baseball, which I put in Fenway Park, was a comment that he made while we were watching a ball game when I said, "Oh, look, the runner stole second base." Well, BJ looked out at the bag and looked at me and said, "No, Grandpa, it's still there." Well, that's the story about Fenway Park in the game of baseball. Another instance is when we were back on the Cape going on a fishing trip. And I told him that there is only one opportunity, don't ask for a second one. Well, at the end of the day, he caught quite a few fish, and while I was helping him, I ended up feeding the fish on my line. So as we're walking off the boat, he asked how many fish he caught, and I told him. Then he asked me how many I caught, and I said, well, I just fed them. A few steps later, he turns and says to me, "You know, Grandpa, you need fishing lessons." Now I chuckled. Went home, told the story to his mom and his grandma, and before you know it, we went back the next day, all four of us. So he got his second trip without asking. Now the whale watching one is basically a journey on the Dolphin that we have taken, and ADHD children are full of questions. And so as we see different things, BJ asks questions. In the end, we also pay tribute to a humpback whale called Salt. Now, Salt was one of the very first whales identified in the mid-70s. Her and her companion, Pepper, when you see Salt's tail, you'll know why she was called Salt. And Pepper had the opposite tail. His was all black. Well, Salt still swims in the ocean, occasionally can still be spotted, but now she's a great grandma, and all of her relatives usually join her as they travel from the Florida waters to the waters of Maine, passing through the waters of Cape Cod. Anyway, Jake's kind of anxious to get with his buddy, who's going to be leaving on Friday. They don't know it, so we're going to let him enjoy the little time they have left. Again, I hope you look into Amazon and look at the potential of purchasing a book about whale watching. Thank you very much. Have a great day. We'll see you down the road. Bye for now.